The trip has been fantastic. I think this is the gem of Eastern Europe.
Well, what I've loved about this trip is the differences between all the different regions that we've been to. We started off exploring the Croatian coast with the blue Adriatic Sea beckoning us all along the way, and then traveled into peaceful, pastoral green Slovenia and ended up in beautiful, romantic Venice, Italy. It's been terrific.
This Discovery Small Groups tour of Croatia and Slovenia begins in Dubrovnik, one of Europe's most beautifully preserved medieval cities. Next, we take a ferry to the peaceful Dalmatian island of Korčula, birthplace of Marco Polo, before continuing up the scenic Adriatic coast to the island of Hvar, one of Croatia's top island destinations. Our journey continues to the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Split, and we will explore the breathtaking waterfalls and terraced lakes of Plitvice before staying in the picturesque seaside town of Opatija. Next, we cross into Slovenia to stay in the capital city of Ljubljana. From Ljubljana, we explore the Julian Alps to experience the alpine culture of Bohinj and Bled. Our final stop is in Italy with a stay in the heart of Venice, a fitting conclusion to our journey of the Adriatic Sea's historic sites and vibrant culture.
Our discovery tour begins in Dubrovnik, Pearl of the Adriatic, a 16th century postcard of Croatia, which most recently became King's Landing of Game of Thrones.
Dubrovnik has been a place I've always wanted to travel to, and it was everything and more.
Dubrovnik was amazing. It really is a storybook town with this beautiful walled city.
Walking the walls was a really cool experience because you could look out onto the Adriatic and the red tile roofs of the city and see what someone standing there hundreds of years ago would have seen.
The hotel in Dubrovnik was totally pleasing. The view was fantastic.
Just having the view, having the ambiance, we wouldn't have found that for ourselves without Discovery Tours.
The home-hosted dinner that we went to just outside of Dubrovnik was probably one of the highlights for me. It was wonderful to be with local people, to taste the local food.
The owner, he had a horse that went around and around this olive crushing mill. They manually pressed the olives to make olive oil, and it was fascinating. The whole evening was fantastic. That was one of the highlights of the trip for me.
We're going to navigate to Marco Polo's dwelling, Korčula, to experience the real laid-back Dalmatian.
Korčula was like a miniature version of Dubrovnik without all the crowds. It was so peaceful and quiet and just a lovely island to stroll around on.
The island of Hvar is beautiful. Walking around the promenade, you see beautiful people, beautiful yachts.
I loved climbing the fort there. That's, I think, what I'm also thoroughly enjoying is being able to do some great walking.
The atmosphere of Hvar is just so unique. These back streets of Hvar makes it ideal for a day walk and just lose yourself in between these tiny little shops and art galleries that people are just falling in love with this place every time they come.
Next we go to Split. It used to be the palace of the last great Roman emperor, now dwelling of thousands of people.
And as we walked around the town, I heard this beautiful, heavenly music. It was the Klapa singers singing their traditional music, and it just gave me goosebumps.
Plitvice was absolutely amazing. What we saw, a lot of interconnected lakes that had waterfalls in between them. The lakes were crystal clear. It was just beautiful. And as we walked around the lakes, you can see waterfalls all around you. You take ferry from one part of the park to the other parts of the park, so you get to see it from the lake as well as from walking around it. It was fascinating and beautiful.
The journey continues to Slovenia, my home country.
Slovenia is this peaceful, idyllic country with forest-carpeted mountains and green pastures and quiet villages. Its capital, Ljubljana, is a really pretty European town. The center of town is completely a pedestrian zone, so you can just walk around freely. There's outdoor cafes everywhere, outdoor markets, people strolling about. It has a very pleasant, laid-back atmosphere.
We're going to take a deeper look to Slovenia by going up to the Alps, to the alpine paradise of the lakes Bohinj and Bled.
Going to Bled was like getting a taste of the fairy tale part of Europe. You have this lovely castle sitting atop this cliff, so postcard perfect. And then there's Venice. St. Mark's Square, Cathedral, the Rialto Bridge, the Bridge of Sighs, wandering through the labyrinth of streets with gelato in hand, and then of course the endless waterways, the bridges, and gondolas.
When we heard about Discovery Tours and them offering small group tours, we thought it would be perfect for us, and we have enjoyed every moment of this trip.
I love that it's a small group. We have a really cohesive group that seems to get along beautifully, meeting people from different places in the U.S.
With Discovery Tours, everything's planned for you, so it is just so easy.
I would recommend Discovery Tours to anyone that asked. The value is incredible.
Our hotels have been fabulous.
The food and the restaurants that Discovery Tours has set up for us to experience has been fantastic.
What I loved about having a local tour guide everywhere we went was that I was able to learn about all the things I love to learn about the culture and the way of life and the people while looking at everything around me rather than having my nose buried in a tour book.
I would really highly recommend Discovery Tours. They really do a beautiful job of making you see with different eyes a different part of the world that was closed off to us for a lot of years.
I would absolutely recommend coming here with Discovery Tours.
You'll get to enjoy the camaraderie and share the experiences with a small group of people, and you'll get to hit some places off the beaten path that you might not have been able to find on your own. It's been a terrific vacation.
So, come to make new friends to Croatia and Slovenia with your own Discovery Tours.
Come and visit us with our Discovery Tours and see everything that Croatia and Slovenia have to offer to you.